What's going on, YouTube? So this is going to be episode 2 of when van life goes wrong. Yeah. So, just looking around behind me, see all these pictures of Elvis. A lot of pictures of Elvis. We, and a lot of people that follow us or whatnot, know that we don't do completely free camping. This is basically, we're on a 5-month road trip, no matter, going wherever. So as you can see, in the surroundings, we're not at a campground. The plan was to be at an RV park, because RV parks are cheaper than hotels. Campgrounds are cheaper than hotels. Campgrounds are cheaper than RV parks. So here's what happened, guys. And first off, I want to apologize for the last video I posted of Ruby Falls. I didn't realize that 2.5 minutes of it maybe was in my pocket. We were actually 1,000 feet underground and to go see Ruby Falls. They're back in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're currently in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, a couple things happened before we left Chattanooga. We had 2 problems. One on the truck, and what happened on the truck is the tire stem valve broke. We noticed we got a message on the truck that said tire pressure low, so we went to check it. Went to try to air it up. Tire stem broke. So we had to go to the Chattanooga, well, close to Ruby Falls. There's Walmart Supercenter, and we got the tire. Sorry if I look all discombobulated. We got the tire stem replaced. Only cost $30. And I was sitting there thinking, well, we left Kansas. The van was at 70,000 miles. So, need an oil change. And their bay doors at that Walmart were big enough to get the van in. So we dropped the van off before we went to Ruby Falls, and we got the oil change, new oil filter, blah, 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 It was at 74,000 miles. Granted, we left Kansas with 70,000 miles. So, we go ahead and we drive from Chattanooga to Memphis, Tennessee. I kid you not. We are 0.7 miles away from the RV park, right by Graceland. Had reservations and everything. And I go through an intersection. Well, I was trying to go through an intersection at Elvis Presley Boulevard, and I want to say the street was Winchester. I could be wrong. Correct me, I don't care. Well, what happened was the van started sputtering. I was driving the van, of course. And what it was acting like to me was the catalytic converter. But now we don't think it's the catalytic converter. We think it might be something electrical. Let me sit down for a second. I'm moving all over the place. But here's what happened. It wouldn't stay. We were at a Walgreens. The van wouldn't stay started. It kept on sputtering. It stayed started for probably 5 minutes. So it's Saturday, right? Not even 9 minutes, 5 minutes. Saturday, right? So everybody around here, mechanic shops, closes at 4. Now, if I'd done a little bit more research, I would have found out right from the hotel that we're staying, not even half a mile down the road. And I know what people say, but there's a Pet Boys / Firestone whatnot. I think it would have been a better deal. and it being a Class B older van, you have to find some, especially with how our van is. It's a freaking high top, so you're gonna have to get a special tow truck, either one that is a flatbed, which I couldn't find, or one that tows freaking big rigs or RVs, which I did find. So, got a tow to a Meineke. The tow was $280. $280 could have been spent on something else. Because, okay, I don't know if you guys have been following us for a while. We left April 3rd. I only brought a certain amount of money on the road with us. I've had to call back home and get more money deposited twice since we've been on the road. Real quick, here's trouble. Hi guys. I don't like Memphis. There's Marissa.
What's up?
I don't like.
It's really hot here. Like, we didn't really even walk that far, and I'm already sweating.
So, $280 and a tow to Meineke. We get to Meineke. Does the van fit in the bay door? No. Van is too small. So, I want to give a big shout out to David at Meineke. He actually was leaving his job on a Saturday to go home. He saw us coming down the road, the tow truck and everything. He turned around and went to Meineke. Back to his job. Stayed there, got us checked in and everything. Went out there, you know, and my whole thing was, with my car experiences in the past, I thought it was the catalytic converter. And if everybody knows, you can either run a straight line pipe on your exhaust or pay the $1,500 and get a new catalytic converter. Just because of the way it was sputtering out. Well, he looks at it, walks up, and he's like, well, how's your gas mileage on the way here? And I was like, great, for what it is. So he was like, well, it would have been choking up if it was your catalytic converter. Because me, I was all worried. I was like, oh, it's the catalytic converter. There's $1,500. We're going to have to go home. I'm going to have to we're going to have to get home. At least we still have the truck. We can get home. Now, there's a problem going on. Now, if we get home, my accountant or whatnot, my uncle, on my mom's side of the family, who has control of most of our our money, which is a big long story. I don't really want to go into with you guys, but he is actually on his way up to Winston-Salem, North Carolina here in a couple of weeks, and he'll be out of town for about a month. So, there comes another problem. If it was the catalytic converter. Anyway, back to what I was saying. David, he was gracious enough to come back to the shop. He popped the hood. He looked at it, and he looked at. He was like, you know what? I think this might be something electrical. Why don't you guys start out with changing the battery, and we'll see where we are from there. It could be the alternator. Now, if it's the alternator, that's not a big deal. Would I pay David to do it just because he is so gracious with us? Yeah, that's a $300 job at least, $300 to $400 with the labor, even though it's 3 bolts. Most alternators are 3 bolts. Take it off, unhook that little wire in the back, put the thing back in. Just because he let us park the van there and everything. And it's not in a very good part of town in Memphis. It's probably about, what did you say, Marissa? About 14 miles? Well, Marissa went in the bathroom. It's about 14 minutes away from here where the van's parked, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's going to go on is I'm going to take David's advice in the morning I'm going to find an AutoZone or a place that sells batteries. I'm going to go ahead because that battery's been in there since we've been on the road. Who knows who bought it beforehand. I mean, and we're going to replace the battery. Now, worst case scenario, it's going to be about 160 bucks. I did bring my tools with me. They're in the van. So, and with it, and I asked David, I was like, you know, what type of part of town is this? And he was like, well, I was like, is it bad part of town? He's like, well, we have heavy traffic along the street. There's a couple mechanic shops, tire shops right next to Meineke where his, you know, he's Meineke, his shop is. So, what we're going to do, get up early in the morning, go get a battery at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go over there. The heat down here right now, it's earlier it was about 94. I'm going to replace the battery. Now here's the kicker. Here's the big kicker, guys. When we got it towed to Meineke, right? Got off the tow truck, sat it down. And that tow truck was expensive, 280 bucks. It's about costing us what this hotel is. So there goes, Jesus, a lot of money. A lot of money. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to replace the battery tomorrow. We got off the tow truck. I sat there and I turned it on. It ran just fine. It didn't start sputtering. It didn't die. And it was sputtering and dying. I even bought jumper cables and used the house battery to jump the main battery because they're both underneath the hood. Thank God it's not like some Class B RVs and they're underneath the side of the van is where your house battery is. Marissa's tired.
Marissa is tired.
I'm worn out. I'm usually the type of person to deal with a lot of stuff pretty easily. I don't get too frustrated anymore. So, tomorrow morning we're going to get up bright and early, go replace the battery, see how it runs, and if it doesn't work out, I'm going to try to drive it back to the hotel. If that doesn't work out, here's the deal. David said I could come get my keys on Monday when the shop opens. He's closed tomorrow on Sunday. There's Pep Boys Firestone right up the street. But my main goal is to change the battery, let the van run for a good 30 minutes, make sure it's idling right. I'm going to try to get it back to the hotel. If it makes it back to the hotel, fine, because you have to drive through town, a good 14 minutes. I think we're good to go. If it doesn't work right, I'm going to take it back to David, I think. It's either David, Pep Boys, and Firestone. But David was really honest with me. I want to give him a big shout out. If you're ever in Memphis, what street was that on?
Lamar.
It's on Meineke on Lamar Street. Ask for David. He's real honest with you. He was honest with me. He was like, look, man, it might not be your catalytic converter. It might be something electrical. Why don't you replace the battery first? On my day off, I won't, I'm not going to charge you anything, And if we can't figure it out, I'll look at it on Monday. Real honest guy. He was like, try it, don't spend your money. Honest guy, really helpful. So if you're ever in Memphis, have an issue, go to Meineke. Anyway, we're going to deal with this issue. Our next stop is Table Rock Lake in Missouri, which is about a little over 4 hours away from here. What is it, 4 hours? Or a little over 5 hours?
Maybe 5.5.
Maybe 5.5 hours from Memphis, which I think we can do. We just need to make sure the van runs right. Then we'll be kind of close to home. But we're not going home yet. We have until the end of August to renew our tax and go home. Now, will we stay home? We might. I have a couple ideas coming up. One is a food truck. We'll see. Or we might keep on back on the road for a little bit. My Instagram, a lot of people are liking my photos. I'm over 860 following right now. I don't know if I'll ever get as big as Wanderbus, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm tired. Been a long day. We started this trip at 7 this morning. We just got really back into our hotel room after dealing with all this about finding a hotel that would accept a pet and dealing with all that at about, geez, what time is it now? 6? Yeah, about 6:20. We basically got into town about 1 p.m. So, hope everybody's having a great Saturday night. We're going to hang out with Elvis. Yeah, baby. And have a couple of cold brews. Call it a night. Watch TV. Might even hit the pool. Anyway, hope y'all are having a great night. Everyone's doing well and everybody's safe. Peace.